Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lucore Automotive. Today, it's a GTO day. If you've been watching our videos recently, you saw this car get rescued out of Long Island, New York recently. It was unfortunately sitting underneath a tree growing moss, and there were a few complications to getting it moving. The biggest of which was the fact that all of the brakes are locked up. So, step one to getting this car moving is getting these brakes unlocked. And fortunately, we happen to have Derek here, who is a wonderful expert in drum brakes.
I don't know about expert.
We make him do all of the drum brakes, is what that means. So today we're going to take off all of the drum brakes, see exactly what kind of state they're in. If they're terrible, if we got to rebuild the entire situation. If they're not terrible, who knows. But Kerry wants to be able to work on this car at his house. In order to be able to work on it at his house, it has to be able to move. So that's what we're doing today. Drum brakes, all four corners, 1967 GTO. If you're interested, stay tuned. Alrighty, so already have the wheels and tires off, and let me show you this. Those are the wheels and tires that came off of this thing. The date code on these wheels and tires, 1978, 1979. But they still hold air, and they may end in a Viking death. We'll see. But we do have the wheels off. Everything seems to be good as far as what you could visually see. Strikingly, this car, though it does look really, really terrible, mechanically it's actually not that bad. If you're following this on Kerry's channel, you will have seen on Friday a video of us replacing the fuel pump on this car, which was not that complicated of a process, and the car did fire back up with a new fuel pump, so life is good. It does look rough, and then, you know, it's still got a lot of disgusting still on it, but the car physically, mechanically is still a pretty solid car. So, from here, go right ahead.
To be fair, I did loosen the adjusters already. So, kind of like what you were saying before, not that bad.
Right.
Probably just brakes locked up due to rust.
Yes.
So we will loosen these, turn the drums down, adjust them correctly, repack the bearings, and put it back together.
Shoes look good.
Yeah, we got some wheel cylinders coming.
Yep.
For it. We'll bleed the brakes, make sure those are all good, and go from there. Easy peasy.
This should be easy.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it's been sitting for a decade underneath a tree, rusting. Good luck, Derek.
I'm gonna go get some brake tools, and we will get these wheel cylinders off.
Did he also rupture the brake line on that side?
Oh, there, now you're at counter testing.
Well, apparently Mongo decided to set his line lock and overpressurize the system. How do you already have grease on your face? Good job. So, whenever we pressurize this, just remember that this brake line is apparently broken. So, we'll probably pressurize this and spit fluid all over. Where is it?
Running into the problem of the bit on the hose that's supposed to turn so that you can pull it off.
Not turning?
Yeah, it's not turning.
You know what you need to do? You need to hit it with a bit of Angry Farmer penetrating spray. Hit it with that. It'll fix it. I'll be honest, I've literally, every single bolt I've hit this with, it works. I bought it as a hilarious joke, but it actually does work. If it needs hoses, it needs hoses.
Yeah, I think it needs hoses.
Question would be, did he pop a hose or did he pop a hard line?
Probably hard line. They're not in the best of condition. Yeah. I would say we need to re-hardline this car.
Yeah, but that adds a lot more to the bill.
Yes, it does. Please hold for this brief intermission. So we're running into the problem where the hose is loose from the fitting, but it's not actually rotating. So I can't twist the hose up enough to get it off. So it needs hoses. But we'll go to the next corner, start getting that one apart, and keep going. Hoping that I can get this spread far enough to get the wheel cylinder out. If not, I may have to drop one of the shoes, which not a big deal. Kind of running into the same problem on this side. The fitting will come loose, but it's not spinning on the line. Not a surprise. We may have to put hard lines and hoses on it. Hopefully. Bam! One down. There you go. So Mr. Customer did provide his own wheel cylinders. These are somewhere in the range of 10 to 20 years old. We don't really know. And this one, at least, looks pretty good. New in the box, still in the sealed bag. This one, on the other hand, not so much. So, just for peace of mind, we're gonna go ahead and get 4 new wheel cylinders for it. All right, last one.
Did we do the plate under the intake last time?
Okay, same issue here as all the other corners. I need to figure out if hoses are even available and when they're available before I cut these and take these off. So this is a highly technical process. Got a can full of grease. Drop the bearing in. Drop that guy on top. What I'm looking for, I don't know if this will show up on camera, but I can see the old grease starting to press out from in between the bearings and the new grease being packed in there. And they don't feel gritty anymore. Really happy with that now. You can see all this old grease is oozing out from between every bearing. And that's how I like to do it. Somebody else may do it differently. But that lets me know that at least the old grease is getting pushed out and new grease is in there. Just like the last one, old grease is pushed out, new grease is starting to push in. Plenty of grease on this side. It's ready to go back in the car.
We'll bring back a little extra. She's a big girl. She has a very distinct odor of mold and mildew. But that will get sorted out with time. This car needs lots of lube. It's very salty from sitting under a blanket under a tree in the shade. Oh, it's much better. Much better. We had Kerry get a stainless steel brake line kit for it. And these guys are actually right over here in Westerville. We get brake calipers and stuff from them all the time. Nicely done piece. These are for the Ram's, what is it? The Ram Air 2 exhaust manifolds. I think I'm gonna have to pull the motor mounts off the saddles and lift the engine to get this in there, because it like goes all over the place in there, but we'll figure it out. Derek's already gotten all the back lines and the main line in. I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate Kerry's 30-year-old line lock system and just put the stainless steel lines in the way they're made. I'm not gonna worry about his line lock. He can play with that later. That's my front left. Then we'll go ahead and pull the wheels, pull the motor mount bolts, and I should be able to slide this guy in with the engine up just a hair. We got a small dizzy, plenty of room against the firewall. Let's get it done. Ooh, actually sounds better than Oh, I've already resurfaced these, and I think Derek's already hung brake shoes all the way around on this thing. That feels like we need to adjust those up a little bit more, actually. We'll have to do that. I don't know how you're supposed to get this line in there. That thing's it's like a pretzel. Gotta go like that. They don't want those anywhere near those exhaust manifolds. I'm going to pull the motor mounts. Oh, I left the lines up top. Yeah, dummy. There's our proportioning valve. That's our rear port. That's our front left out port. Which means that's got to go in there then, right? Oh. I think that needs to be rotated. Rotated. It looks like it needs to go into it like that. Because it can't go in it like that. Dirk. Nope, that doesn't work. Ooh. Actually, it probably goes in like that. So we can rotate him up and over to gain access. That makes more sense. Boy, they really took these away from the Mannies, didn't they? They must have been cooking the brakes out of these things. This would be easier with the exhaust off the car. Can I just get rid of the exhaust, please? All right, that one's out. I don't think we'll need him again, but we'll keep him there just in case. Let's go ahead and get an easy win. We can get our left front brake line and both of our master cylinder brake lines installed to make me feel like I actually accomplished something. And then we will pull the starter, pull the motor mounts, lift the motor, sneak this crossover line in, and then put it all back together. Whatever. It just takes time. Lots of time. I would normally put a new master cylinder on if I'm doing a job like this. But right now we're just fitting things up, making sure that everything works. And then we will probably put a new master cylinder on this. I will recommend that Kerry gets one picked up. I think that would be a wise decision. Okay, that's not going to work. Hey, it's still got relatively clean fluid in it. So that's a good sign. Alright, Kerry, your line locks, no more. There we go. Working smarter, not harder. I always try. It never works that way for me, though. So Teflon tape, when you put Teflon tape on a line fitting, you're not actually helping anything because your seal is right here on the 45-degree seat. Teflon tape actually causes more damage than good. Just a little tidbit for all you watchers out in YouTube land. No, I don't go like that. Well, that doesn't fit right at all. Alright, that guy fits there. Let's see what we have on the bottom side. Let's take our line with us because we're going to install it down there. Well, y'all probably can't see this, but just a minor tweak of the front line gets it right where it needs to be. Usually the master cylinder feeds come into the top. The two front sides go out the front and the front bottom, and then the rear goes out the rear. Pretty simple. Just got to start them straight. Otherwise you'll have regrets. And they are different threads usually, so it's kind of tough to mix them up. Oh! Gravity. Oh, that actually looks really nice. I'll give them a little tweak and make them nice and symmetric. Our two drops are done. Oh, it just knocked dirt right down my shirt. That's gross. Definitely gonna need a shower and a delousing after this car. Alright. Let's get our motor mounts pulled. This is gonna be the ugly one. Okay, that actually makes more sense. It doesn't go above the frame rail, it goes below the frame rail. So it goes inside of the spring and inside of the spring on the bottom of the frame, and that gets the brake line away from the exhaust manifolds. I think I'm just going to pop the pitman arm off the steering gear because it'll allow me to move that out and away. And I'll just tweak that in and over, slide this guy through, and then I'll just retweak the line if I need to. So actually pretty straightforward. I kept thinking that the line was going on top of the frame rail. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, it has to go under it because that would make more sense to get it away from the heat of the manifolds, which was the whole reason the Ram Air 2 lines are different than the standard lines. because they cook the brake fluid out of them. So I'm going to drop the sway bar bolts and the pitman arm, and that should be an easy win. Why don't you go in your home? Oh, because there's a battery cable there. Or something. Come on through to the other side. I guess it's brake on through to the other side, but whatever. Oh, there you are. Hello. Hello there. Oh, Betty. Got it. Oh, that's glorious. I gotta find some line holds. But that completely gets that brake line away from these exhaust manifolds so that they don't boil the brake fluid. That's amazing. Let's hook them up. Now I can put my steering back the way I need it to be. I think that was probably the easiest way to do it. Oh, go back to your happy home. Right about there. Oh, you need such a bigger sway bar in this car. Actually very easy to strip those out. They're just a little bolt. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. All right, all right, all right. Not real tight. It doesn't take much to hold that guy down. You can strip him out real easy. Just a skosh. Too short. Well, let's make it longer. Let's see if I have a horseshoe for that brake line. These little horseshoe clips are little spring-loaded guys. I try to hang on to them whenever I take them off an old car or out of a kit, because you never know when you're going to need one. Of course, when you do need one, you don't know where they're at. I was lucky and I found it. That'll do. Let's tighten her up. And that will be that. Time to bleed brakes. So I decided to go ahead and put a master cylinder on it because I can't get the brakes to bleed. Even though this master cylinder was new, it's clearly not doing what it needs to do. So we're going to replace it. I've already bench bled the new unit. It came in today. So I can move forward with that. And then we can get this thing adjusted and out of here. Moving on to the next thing. Let Kerry have his car back so he can play with it at his house. Where's my nut? The master cylinder was brand new 20 years ago. It was actually leaking out the back.
It was brand new until it wasn't.
It was brand new until it wasn't brand new anymore.
Well, there we go. We've got all the stoppy now on the GTO. This footage has been over a little while. Unfortunately, we've been working on this car kind of in between other projects, so it's not been a priority, so it's kind of fallen by the wayside, unfortunately. But here she sits, there she is. She does stop at this point in time. Brakes are bled, it needs to be driven, and we want to see how it actually performs on the road. Only problem is, it needs a fuel line. We haven't put a fuel line on it yet. So, need to put a fuel line on it, and then this thing should be able to be sort of driven, at least test driven. At least driven around the parking lot to see how the brakes perform. We don't know vacuum situation. We don't know anything about this motor. But as far as brakes wise, it's got all new hoses on it, all new hard lines on it. The shoes were fine. The drums have been turned. Brand new master cylinder. The booster is the original that was on the car, so we have not touched that. We just want to see how this thing performs. But step one for the next video is going to be get a fuel line on this thing and then make this thing run off its own fuel tank. So that'll be in the next episode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Nothing real flashy, you know, it's just muscle car work, man. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that you do to get these things running and driving and turning and stopping. It's just not real flashy and sexy, but it needs to be done or you can't do the fun stuff. So there we go. Anyway, thanks for being here. Hope you've enjoyed it. There will be more content on the 67 GTO coming soon. We're gonna get the brake or the fuel line finished, and then that will probably be the very end of you'll seeing it here. After that, it's gonna be all on the Mechanical Advantage Garage, which is Kerry's channel, which you can find. I'll put a link in the description and put a thingy up here on the thing, so you guys can follow along with what Kerry's experiences with this thing will be. Anyway, thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. I gotta go back to work. Got a lot more things to do. Take care.